To the Board of Education meeting for January 26, 2026. I'll start tonight with our vision. We believe in opportunities, achievement, and community for all. Our mission, the School District of Milton, in partnership with the community, prepares our students for achievement and lifetime readiness by providing opportunities for all. And with that, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't think the cameras can see, so I'm just going to point out we have a wonderful, beautiful crowd here tonight. Thank you all for coming. And we will start, I will entertain action on the agenda for tonight.
I'll move to approve the agenda as presented.
I have a motion from Tracy and a second from Rick. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Action on the minutes from January 12th of 26.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for the regular meeting held on January 12th, 2026 as presented.
I have a motion from Rick and a second from Ed. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Vouchers.
I'll move to approve the general checking account vouchers totaling $464,676.13 as presented.
I have a motion from Tracy and a second from John. Any questions or comments on the vouchers? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Public, thank you, Chris. There's no public comment tonight. Are we ready for the superintendent's update?
Yes. We have a couple different things in the superintendent's update. We're going to start with our Red Hawk recognition of students, and then we'll follow that up with Red Hawk recognition for staff members. All right. When the students are announced, if they and their group could come up, and we'll take a picture of the entire group of students as they all are recognized. So we'll have you come up when your name is called, but then we will have you stay up for a picture too with the full board.
We are here to proudly recognize the following student groups for their remarkable accomplishments, leadership, and positive impact on our school community and beyond. Their achievements reflect creativity, perseverance, and strong commitment to excellence. The Harmony Elementary School National Elementary Art Honor Society. So if you would like to come up, you can. The Harmony Elementary School was selected as one of the first schools in the nation to pilot the National Elementary Art Honor Society, an incredible honor and testament to the talent and dedication of our young artists. Through this program, students have channeled their creativity into meaningful service projects that benefit both the school and the wider community. Their artistic contributions include school-wide positivity posters, a backdrop for the Veterans Day ceremony, and personalized art prints for residents at Huntington Memory Care, helping brighten the days of local seniors. In addition to showcasing their artistic talents, these students are developing leadership skills at a young age and learning how creativity can be a force for good. We are incredibly proud of their service, talent, and impact.
Right? Mr. Calvert, would you like to?
Somebody gotta come up.
Let's turn a little bit toward facing, you see Mrs. Stupid there?
I just did it in the second row.
So you're facing Mrs. Stupid.
We have students.
How's that look, Carrie?
There's Ed.
Okay.
All right. Congratulations, Alex.
Are we taking or are we? Okay, you can take it.
All right. Next is the NIS and MMS math meet teams demonstrated exceptional perseverance. Southern Lakes Advanced Learning Network Math Meet held at UW-Whitewater. Their success highlights what is possible when scholars are challenged, supported, and encouraged to persist through complex problem solving. This victory marks the 7th consecutive year of Math Meet success, continuing a long-standing tradition of excellence and advancing our students to the state level to the Mega Math Meet. Your achievements are not only reflections on their commitment and hard work, but also serves as an inspiration to scholars across the district to engage deeply in mathematical thinking and pursue academic excellence. We are proud to celebrate this outstanding accomplishment. Math Meet team, come on up. Right, there's that. Next up is Stacy Step. Stacy continuously goes above and beyond in the opportunities she creates for our leaders. She encourages all students to be engaged, not only at school, but also within the community. In addition, she inspires our high school students to explore the world through learning opportunities abroad. Expanding their perceptions and experiences, we are incredibly fortunate to have Stacy as part of the district and grateful for your compassion and your commitment to your work. Ashley Hughes. Ashley's love for helping others thrive is evident in every interaction. The systems she has initiated have positively transformed the culture of her building for both students and staff. She cares deeply for the people that she serves and approaches her work with compassion and purpose. Ashley is truly gifted to her building, and she is professional in a big, wholehearted way. Thank you. Gabby? Gabby amazes her colleagues daily with the creativity, care, and dedication she brings to her classroom. She is an outstanding teacher who fosters a genuine love of literacy in her students. Her classes fully fostered a genuine love of literacy in their recent novel, Study of Bud, Not Buddy. And it was inspiring to see the excitement students showed for reading and discussion. Gabby creates a caring, safe, and inclusive classroom where students feel valued and connected. Beyond the classroom, she takes on additional commitments, such as coaching Girls on the Run and advising the GSA club at Northside. She also supports student connection beyond our school, including coordinating pen pals with a class in Puerto Rico, often spending her lunch periods helping students with those letters. Gabby truly embodies the values of Milton, and we are grateful to have you.
Oh, are we ready? Oh, we got 2 minutes.
The next agenda item is Red Hawk highlights, and on the second board meeting of each month, our members of our administration come up and share things that are happening at each of their schools. Looks like Mrs. Stuckey is going to start.
Just today, those report cards were shared through Skyward Family Access. So our families get to read those thoughtful comments. It takes a very long time for elementary teachers to do that, so we're grateful for that work that they put in. We also just got done with our Ames Web Plus testing. So as you've heard many updates in the last couple of years around Act 20, that Ames Web testing is something that is done for all of our K-3 students, and that just wrapped up for the mid-year testing. And we're really excited to see that district-wide, we have only about half as many students with a need for reading plans as what we had a year ago from the first round. So all of that hard work, all of that learning that we did together has been paying off for our readers. So we're grateful for that. And want to give a shout out to the instructional coaches, school psychologists, Julie Musgrove. All those folks went around to the different schools to help our teachers do. Many of those tests are one-on-one, takes a really long time. So that extra help was greatly appreciated.
All right. Jeff Dye, I'm here for Northside tonight. I know I'm not usually here. So at Northside, some of the highlights we have going on is that we just recently had our first Hawk Honors breakfast. Part of our big push this year is kind of like universal behavior expectations for students and getting all of our staff members and students on the same page with that. Jen has probably shared some of this before, but our 4 big words this year are polite, prepared, productive, and safe. And so we had all of our homeroom teachers identify students that were going above and beyond in displaying those qualities. And we brought, it was almost 100 students and staff, or sorry, not students and staff, students and parents in on Thursday morning, had a breakfast to celebrate all their accomplishments over the course of the year and just recognize them for their positive behavior and their impact on their peers. This was also a surprise to me because I didn't realize that this was part of the board meeting today. So that's all that I have. Thank you.
All right. At the middle school, we are just trying to wrap up our winter iReady diagnostics and looking at that data. We're really proud of our middle school robotics team. It's our first ever robotics team. And they went 4-3 in their first competition. So again, it's the first ever middle school robotics team for Milton Middle School. Students throughout last week into this week have been trying to guess a guest speaker that's coming to the middle school. And today it was revealed to the students that Nick Stone, the author, is going to be coming to speak to Milton Middle School students on February 18th. Jessica Fetting is an ELA teacher who helped organize that. And then lastly, our students have been working really hard to get ready for the musical. We have several different productions of the musical taking place in February. The students are going to go see the musical as part of their school day on Thursday the 19th. And then there will be shows on Friday the 20th at 6:30. There's a sensory friendly show taking place Saturday during the day at 2 o'clock. So there will be like fewer flashing lights and sound or louder noises. And then on Sunday the 22nd will be the matinee at 2 o'clock. The Addams Family. Sorry, you caught me off guard there. Yeah.
All right. And then at the high school, I'll pick up one thing that Ben said, the robotics team. One thing I'll mention about the middle schoolers were part of those wins are actually against other high school teams. And so that program continues to grow. We're very proud of it. On February 21st will be the robotics home robotics competition. All are welcome to attend. This week, actually, on Wednesday, we will be starting another round of arena scheduling. We actually, last week, we started something new. Students, all week during Study Flex, students were in their homerooms working with advisors, much more intentional this year. Looking at some of the feedback that we got from our Qualtrics data in the past from parents and from our students about the scheduling process. We worked with our students actually all week last week, going through more of an advisory period of courses that would align with their ACP, courses that are available to them, helping them get ready for the arena scheduling, get some practicing within the homerooms last week. And so on Wednesday, our juniors are scheduled, and then the next weeks we'll have sophomores and freshmen will be scheduling. And then I have to mention too, obviously, we just came off a great weekend at Milton High School. Rock the Rock was a huge success. It was a lot of fun. We had over 20 choirs that participated. I was this year, since I have a son that was in the show band for the first time, I got to see it through the lens of a show band dad, which, this is my 18th Rock the Rock that I've been to and I spoke at. And usually after I give the awards and it's great and all that, and I talk to some folks, I get to leave. I got to stick around for the cleanup to put, yes, that's laughing. All right. And I gained a whole new appreciation for the amazing parent group that we truly have. I've always known that they do a lot of work and they've been very, very much valued. But when I saw the number of folks, there's over 250 volunteers that help put that on. There's thousands of people that go through that. It's obviously an event that we've treasured for a long time. But a real shout out to the parents group, Teresa Andres, who's the show choir parents president, and all the many, many volunteers. And it's not just our parents, it's alumni that come back to volunteer, alumni parents come back to volunteer. So it was a lot of fun. So kudos to everyone. Again, over 20 choirs participated. De Pere actually took home the grand championship. Thank you.
And the last agenda item under the superintendent update are highlights from the 2026 State Education Conference. We had a number of school board members and administrators that spent some time last week in Milwaukee learning together with folks from across the state. So if the board, we'll start with the board members want to share a highlight from their sessions that they attended. And then as the board is finishing, if we could have Julie, Whitney, and Ross come up and share highlights from their sessions.
Thank you, everybody. First of all, it was a great conference, and I'm sure somebody will say it, but since I'm first, I'm going to say it first. Shout out to the students from Milton, from Red Hawk Media, that were there filming the capstone video for the whole thing. They were amazing. Some of the sessions I attended, attended a session on artificial intelligence and policy around that. I found it very, very interesting and took a lot from it. I also attended a session on how to hold a legislation day in your district, and I thought that was something we might look at doing here. And then also on top of that, I went to a legislation update from WASB, hearing what the latest trends are happening up at the Capitol. And then I went to the delegation assembly, which took up the better part of my first day. It was about 4 hours. I won't bore you with all the details, but we'll put a memo together for everybody how it all voted, but pretty much went the way we expected it to go. And then lastly, I went to a session on connecting students to and telling your story. And that was more of a vendor-led thing, so I didn't get as much out of that one, but it was certainly a good experience. And overall, I made a lot of great connections, talked to a lot of great people, and had a lot of fun with administration and colleagues.
I was there in spirit.
Thank you, Joe. I was able to attend one day, and I kind of hopped around to a couple of different sessions. One of my favorite one was a session on AI and the thoughtful use of AI, and it made for some good conversation at the end when you're trying to balance out preparing our students versus managing our students when it comes to AI. Went to a few on school finance, went to one on a federal update, and then I went to one that I thought was interesting on the WIAL and high school NIL. And one of the interesting points that they were making was, I don't know if it's not in Wisconsin, it's one of the states, legislation where there's that restriction on moving to a new school and not playing on a varsity team for a year, but then that restricting your ability to earn an income on your name and likeness. So a couple of really interesting topics that are evolving. And then again, like Ed said, amazing job by the students. So amazing by how many Milton folks were there. The trade show is always an interesting place to collect fidgets for certain schools that like fidgets, and just to meet some really interesting people.
So one of my favorite parts about the show is, hanging out with fellow board members, not just our board, but the other boards across the state. I've met a handful of people that I try to connect with every year. So that was a highlight, hanging out with some of the admins at dinner time. That was fun to get to know everybody a little bit more. As far as the show goes, I was a little late. I had a grandbaby the night before, so I had to meet him before I made the trip over. So some of the sessions I attended, systems framework, which was maybe a little bit over my head, but I did garner some good stuff there. Policy, that was kind of more, shared some case studies. One of the things, the circle that I talked to, one of the big things was the cost of health insurance. So I did attend a session on that. I learned that the U.S. is number one in the number one spending country, and in the U.S., Wisconsin's the number 4 spending state per capita, or whatever the number is. But so that's a trend that we will have to try to figure something out on. So, and the last one was a teacher comp, just talking about processes and getting buy-in from the whole staff. So, all in all, good show.
First of all, I'd like to thank the district for sending us all to the program. WASB always does a great job, and it's always very educational and informative. I attended a session about the board's role in the financial oversight of the district. The presenters spoke about the types of things that a board should be aware of, such as our statutory obligations, how and when to adopt a budget and what a fund balance is and why it's important. I did learn some things from this presentation, but most importantly, I learned that it's important to have good people doing those things. So thanks to everyone in our business office that I know they all do a great job. I also attended a session called Mastering the Art of School Finance Storytelling. Here we learned about why it's important to talk to the public about finances on an ongoing basis and not just when you're trying to get ready for a referendum. The presenter spoke about the importance of financial communication and how to put terms that we might use here, such as mill rate and fund balance, into terms that would be easier for the general public to understand. So that was very informative also. But I also just enjoyed spending time with my fellow board members. So thanks everyone for all of that.
All right. So my three favorite were Who's Telling Your Story? Strategies for Real Connection. And what I took away from that session was that we have an amazing district with an amazing director of communications, and we're doing a lot of things right. So I was very proud to kind of be able to sit there and listen and go, oh, we do that. And we do that too. And Carrie does that. So super proud to just know that we're doing the right things as it relates to communication and telling our story and making connections in the community. And I did attend a session on hiring a new superintendent. And so that was very informative. It was a panel at the session, and it was very interesting to hear the superintendents and how their hiring process and their journey went. So I learned some valuable things about what to do and what not to do in hiring a new superintendent. And then my other favorite was Stronger Together, addressing mental health through community connections, and just some really great takeaways. I serve on the HR committee. So again, I feel like I learned a lot about how it is that we can address some of the mental health issues throughout the district in maybe new ways in which we can utilize current staff and perhaps even reach out to the community with some of the resources that are out there that maybe we don't tap into that we could.
I'll follow up on that because one of the things I noticed as I was making notes about the conference is several of the keynotes addressed stress and the mental health of people who work in districts and school boards. And so there was a lot of that emphasis also at the conference. I attended quite a few of the legal updates, transportation law, one on superintendent evaluations, and much like others have said, you'd sit through those sessions and say, yeah, we do that. Yeah, we do that too. Oh, we did that. And I know we have great staff. And when you can say that, it just like reinforces the good work that everybody's doing here. The other thing that was really valuable is having time to talk with colleagues and business partners and, learn from each other. I met several school board presidents that were going to stay in touch. And so that was really fun. And then finally, in the exhibit hall, our consulting company, HYA, was advertising our superintendent position. And so that was kind of exciting to see also. So we had a number of district admins with us, so if they want to share.
Yes, also glad to be part of the convention last week with all of you, and I'm sure it'll come as no surprise. I did attend a number of finance sessions at the convention, but I also made a point to look at the legal updates and the legislative updates. WASB and SAA both put on sessions on that topic, and I look at those sessions as important to me because I find it interesting what those groups tell their membership. And while they did hit some of the same notes, there's definitely a lot still in play. Even though we approved the budget 2.5 months ago, there's currently money at the state level that's up in the air right now that's being discussed, including a emergency resolution last week that was discussed regarding the budget surplus and special education reimbursement percentages. So we'll be closely watching that for the rest of this year and the remainder of the current state biennium. But yeah, all in all, great conference.
All right. Well, first of all, I got stuck in the elevator. So that's how my day started on the first day of the conference. So I was stuck for 25 minutes in the elevator. So it was pretty eventful. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So it took 5 engineers to open up that elevator. So luckily they were all there. I think the keynote speaker on the first day, Anne Marie Anderson, she is an Emmy Award-winning broadcaster. She shared her story, not about being the famous person, but more of her journey with her own children. I think it just showed the sense of belonging. So we talk a lot about the importance of sense of belonging and the impact that it has. She talked about her son who found his place, and it just reminded me of the job that we get to do every day and the impact that we get to have on the scholars that we serve, and that sense of belonging and finding ways that to support them in that journey of finding their place, and whatever that may be. I think was just the start of that conference was so powerful. And I think for me, that's what I was rooted in throughout the entire conference, of thinking of certain scholars that I've had the opportunity to serve. But then also as we move forward, how do we bring that back to our staff of, we talk about sense of belonging and the impact, but are we really intentional to make sure every scholar has somebody that they can connect with? So I think that's kind of the big piece that I took away. I went to some of the policies, kind of the new legislative laws around Get Kids Ready, which is the Wisconsin Department of Children and Families that has a new initiative. So wanted to kind of get some more information around the 4-year-old program that's tied to the child care. So that was something that, those are kind of the two things that really I focused on.
I will echo Julie that the most impactful to me was the keynote speaker, Anne Marie Anderson, just helping to recenter on your why and remember why we're all there for students, and helping to make sure that the decisions we make are bringing students closer together to find those connections and those opportunities. 2 of the sessions that I went to that were most impactful were ones on Wisconsin law and legal updates. It was great to see that a lot of the work that our student services department's doing is not only student-centered, but aligned with the things that were outlined in those sessions. And then the last session that I went to was an opportunity to network with another special education team in the state who is doing amazing things with their special education delivery model. They're seeing huge improvements with state testing data, attendance, discipline referrals, and overall creating independence in students. So a good opportunity to be able to connect with people trying to do some of the same things that we're looking at too.
And I will close that out. I attended sessions on finance, legislative, and legal updates that were very informative. A session on coaching principals to do the best job that they can do at their schools. A session on AI use by students and staff, and some of the things that I learned will be tied into a new AI policy that we'll be bringing through the governance committee for first read at the next board meeting. And then Ed mentioned it, but I also want to both thank our Red Hawk media team from Milton High School. The students did an outstanding job. I heard a lot of comments from other adults attending the sessions about how professional they were in their work. And I also want to thank our staff who supervised them, Mr. Quant, Mrs. Brechtel, and Mrs. Kleba, for their outstanding work taking a group of students to learn and to provide a service for school boards from across the state.
Thank you. And we'll now move on to the presentation, our 24-25 financial audit report.
Hello, board members. Thank you for having me here today to present the audit. My name is Hui Meng. I'm an audit manager with Johnson Block. Today, I will briefly go over this financial statement highlight with you. I assume that you have already reviewed the financial report. Please feel free to jump in if you have any questions as I go along. In the audit report, after the table of content, you will find our independent auditor's report. This is the report that we, as the auditor, issued providing an opinion on the financial statements. I'm sorry, go page 1, like up to the... Can I control it, by the way? Oh, no. No? Okay. Oh, yeah, here we go. Okay. Our report issued an unmodified opinion, which means that the financial statements are fairly presented in accordance with accounting principles generally accepted in the USA, and it is free of material misstatement. After the independent auditor's report is the management discussion and analysis, which provides additional narrative and supports the financial statements from management perspectives. And then we have government-wide financial statements. This is more like a consolidated look at the financial statements reporting by the different categories of governmental and business type activities. It is under full accrual basis of accounting. And then it also has the long-term debt and long-term assets presented on the face of financial statement. Then we have fund financial statements. This provides the detail on each of the district's major funds, providing the information as self-balancing individual fund. So for governmental funds, it has general fund, including special education fund, capital projects fund, debt service fund, and non-major funds. For business type funds, it's accounted for similar to businesses, which includes the food service fund. And then we have notes to the financial statements, which contains summary of significant accounting policies and footnotes related to significant financial statements account, which includes cash, debt, capital assets, Wisconsin retirement system notes, and OPEB notes. Then we have required supplementary information and other supplementary information. For required supplementary information, we include the budget to actual comparison schedules and WRS schedules, OPEB schedules. Then for supplementary information, we have the financial statements for non-major fund. Then go to next page. So part of the annual audit process, we are also required by the DPI to certify some districts' numbers. This includes the 8 certification and audited fund balance certification. So we submitted both certifications on September 11th, 2025. And then we will also issue the single audit report. We plan to have it issued by the end of January. After that, we will submit the data collection form to the Federal Clearinghouse. Besides the audit report, we also issued audit matters requiring communication to government body. This is just a standard communication to the board members. There's no findings, no issues that we found from this year's audit. So basically, in conclusion, this year it is a clean audit. So next page, page 3, is the 2025 financial highlights. This is kind of a condensed version of the general fund balance sheet. It includes, for general fund, it is the main operating fund of the district. And under the financial reporting purposes, it also includes the special education fund. So for general fund cash balance, you have 10.59 million of cash, which increased about 1 million from last year. Tax receivable, other assets are pretty comparable to last year. And then current liability, you have 4.5 million, which increased about 600,000 from last year. This also includes 2.4 million of due to other fund from general fund. And then the total fund balance of 12.2 million, which is the total assets minus the total liabilities. And then in the middle of this page, it listed the broken down of the fund balance into 4 different categories. Non-spendable fund balance, which represents mainly the prepaid expense balances. Restricted fund balance, which is the fund balance that can only be used for specific programs. And then committed fund balance is the fund balance number committed by the board members or by the board. And assigned fund balance, which is about 11.5 million that can be used for the operating of the school district. We also do a calculation or evaluation of the fund balance to next year's budget. So our calculation shows that you have about 21%, like the fund balance is about 21% of next year's budget, which is pretty comparable to last year, which you have like 22%. So at the bottom of this page is summarized income statement. It is general fund kind of budget compared to actual. So you can see the revenue expenses are all over budget, but overall you have an increase of fund balance of 255,000. So next page is budget comparison data. So it mainly lists the expenditures which are over budget by more than 10,000. So the capital outlay expenditures are over budget for about 2.5 million. This is mainly because of the Apple lease that you signed at the end of the year, and these expenditures are covered by the proceeds of that Apple lease. And then it's the debt service is over budget by 160,000, and this is mainly journal entry made by us for reporting purposes for the SPIDA, which is the subscription-based information technology agreements journal entry. So page 5 is the other funds fund balance information. So I won't go through all of these, but at the bottom, the food service fund balance, this number is different than the day-to-day kind of number from the districts. This is from our financial report, which is under full accrued basis of accounting. It's different than the DPI requirements, but it is under GAAP. So the difference is mainly from the capital assets and the annual depreciation expenses that will report, like how they reported on the financial report for the food service fund. And then we also include the allocation of the WS pension liability, WS deferred pension inflows and outflows, also reported here on the food service fund. So when you look at the numbers, that might different from what you've seen from the books from the district's accounting software. And then page 6 is the historical information of district's general obligation debt compared to its capacity. Under state statute, the district is allowed to borrow up to 10% of the equalized value in the district's limit. So you can see that the outstanding general obligation debt is pretty consistent in the last 5 years. And then but the debt limit has increased in the last 5 years. And overall, at the end of the year, you still have about 87% of capacity of borrowing. Page 7 has the 5-year historical data for the general fund expenditures. So here it also includes the special education fund and debt service fund expenditures. And page 8, same information, but in a different chart. It just breaks down the expenditures into different function, but shows in pie chart for the last couple of years. Page 9, historical data for the revenue, general fund revenue, and then page 10, similar information, but in pie charts for the last 2 years. The last page of this summary is the net cost of governmental activities by function of programs. And the total of this net cost of services of like 43 million, this number or this cost is covered by the tax levy and also the general aid. So this information is generated from page 2 of the financial report. Any questions?
I would just like to thank you and all of your fellow audit team, as well as our business office, for all of the work I know goes into producing these reports in a timely fashion. So thank you for all your efforts and the business office as well.
Thank you.
I also would like to thank you. Thanks for coming. Thanks for all your work. I'm just curious, do you have any suggestions on changes or improvements that can be made on the processes or anything that you observed while you were doing it?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So from this audit, like we don't have any specific findings of specific kind of recommendations to the district, but overall, there were a couple topics in the field that we like to aware the board members about it, and then we also like our clients to know about it too. So first of all, it's about the cybersecurity kind of awareness. So we'd like to have all the employees to aware of the cybersecurity, to have them trained annually regarding the cybersecurity information. And then because the cyber incidents has been kind of very hot, or like kind of the risk has increased in the last couple of years. So that is one thing that we want the board and the employees to be aware of. Another thing is related that, so in the last couple of years, it is another hot topic regarding to the internal risk assessment on financial procedures. So this basically is just ask you to stepping back to see what can go wrong, or how it could go wrong, and or like how it can be prevented from any risks. So when you see like this part of the transaction, or like this procedures can cause some problems or cause some risks, how you can improve your procedure to prevent the risk ahead of time. So that's another kind of thing that I want the board to be aware of, kind of know about. It's another hot topic. It doesn't mean that the school district does something wrong or anything. It's just a general kind of topic of suggestions.
And these things were talked with the staff you talked with the staff about these things during the audit?
We kind of not directly, but kind of cybersecurity, we send out the cybersecurity kind of questionnaire to have them fill out to see if you guys are aware of you have such like firewall, or you change the password kind of regularly. We do those inquiries during our audit. For internal control, we ask about disbursement procedures, payroll procedures, receipts procedures to see if you have a good procedure there or internal control there. But still risks is there, or like kind of sometimes may happen from kind of prevent it. So
sure.
This is just some general things. And from audit, we cannot kind of do audit for that details to see each transactions. At standing point, we need our responsibility is to make sure that the financial statement is not materially misstated. So we don't kind of do audit for all of the transactions. Hope that makes sense. Okay.
Does your audit involve reviewing the internal controls of the district? So in private or public industry, we have a Sarbanes requirements, and not that it would be a Sarbanes type audit, but in making your opinion, do you look for material weaknesses in the internal control structure?
Yes, we do kind of, for those procedures that we mentioned about, we do walkthroughs, we get understanding of the internal controls. Yes, we do give some opinion on the internal control. That is what we do for the single audit. We will have another single audit report that issued. I sent the draft to Ross today. It has our audit opinions regarding the internal control and compliance. Yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Next on our agenda is a hiring committee update, and Rick and John, feel free to jump in. We met after the last board meeting, and during our meeting, we completed the planning document, and we set dates for our focus groups, both internal, in-person and virtual. We plan for feedback to the board from HYA once they've collected data from the focus groups, and survey. They'll be sending out a survey. And if you have been watching our social media and our Red Hawk review, you'll see that we have started advertising those dates, and hope people are putting them on your calendars to give us feedback on what you would like to see from a new superintendent. We've set the dates for the interviews. As I said, the job was posted and it was advertised at the conference. And I'll just repeat, please follow our social media and our Red Hawk review, or go to our website, and it is the first kind of link that pops up under our school district, and that has an overview of our process and locations, times, and format for our focus groups. Did I miss anything? Looking at Chris. Any questions? The hiring committee will again be meeting after tonight's meetings.
I would just like to say I did actually see that post and I wasn't in the meeting. So when it popped up on my Facebook, that was a great post. And it actually had been already shared by somebody I know versus me seeing it on the district Facebook page. So I was really impressed by the post and the fact that those actions were going to happen and I was not aware. So it really got my attention. So thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And we will move on to our Finance Committee update. Tracy?
Yes, I will wait for Stephen and Ross to come forward. So the Finance Committee met on January 19th. There were 3 items on the agenda, and they are here for discussion this evening and possible action at a future meeting. And I will turn it over to Stephen. The first one is the long-term capital maintenance plan.
Thank you, Tracy. As Tracy mentioned, presented the updated 10-year capital maintenance plan, specifically projects outlined for fiscal year 2026-27. And we'll cruise through the PowerPoint and save some time at the end for questions. So the first slide I always present to the board is just reminding the board and reminding the community of the previous investments that previous boards have made over the last 5 years, and did a bit of reformatting of the previous investment slides to show instead of highlights per each fiscal year, taking a look at the investments that have been made at each building specifically over the last 5 years, which I think paints a pretty good picture of just the overall improvements that have been made at each building, and a really equitable approach that we've taken to make sure that every building moves along the same track of improvements along the way. And one highlight that I did want to add to that last slide quick was just the one outlier that we did have there that makes the high school seem quite a bit higher was that total does include the grandstand replacement project. So just wanted to make sure to point that one out. Moving on to the proposed projects for 2026-27. The first project we'll talk about is at Milton East. Mechanical projects are proposed for East this year, replacing the gym air handler with a rooftop air handler, and that would be adding air conditioning to that as well. The original air handler shown in that photo is original to that building's construction in 1958. And we would also be proposing to add air conditioning to the cafeteria that was renovated in 2020 as part of the capital referendum. And that is just continuing on our goals and priorities to get through all of our elementary schools to add air conditioning in all common spaces as a priority, just as a feasible goal for us to do over the next few years. Continue to move towards that. At West, pretty much the same project as East, just replacing 2 air handlers with a rooftop air handling unit and adding air conditioning that serve the gym and cafeteria. And that is also original to that building's construction in 1966. Definitely got our money's worth out of all those mechanical systems. Consolidated and Harmony, we have no proposed projects for 26-27. At Northside, replacing 3 exterior doors that are remaining from when we did a bunch a few years ago. That's doors 3, 4, and 5. They're exit-only doors on the 100 wing. Photo of door 5 there. That one doesn't owe us anything either at this point. So one of our 2 larger projects proposed this summer, that would be proposed Fund 46 projects, would be to replace the remaining pneumatic controls at Northside over to DDC. And as I said at the Finance Committee meeting, I'm very excited that that is actually the last of our pneumatic controls. So we'll be a 100% digital control district, which is very exciting. Took about 10 years or so to get through the district. So this is a large accomplishment for us. Last project at Northside would be to replace the flooring that is original to the building's construction in 1993, from VCT that's shown in the picture there to an LVT that you've pretty much seen around the district at this point as our district standard. At the middle school, we would be looking to replace the ceiling lighting and paint in the east and north gym hallways. That's pretty much untouched from that building's construction in 1979, with a project total at those two hallways of around $25,000. Project number 2 for the middle school related would be replacing the flooring and stair treads in the upper level hallways and classrooms. And we would be also replacing the ceiling, lighting, and painting in the upper level hallways, really giving that second floor a total refresh. And I'll call that phase 1 because next year would be a similar project in the remaining lower level classrooms that weren't touched by the capital referendum in 2020 and 2021. At the high school, the second large scale project proposed from Fund 46 would be roof retrofit of the roof over top of Gym 2. And this is the second to last large roof project at the high school before we're pretty much through roof sections to that scale anyway at the high school. And we're continuing to do 30-year roof sections when we do projects like that. Second project at the high school would be replacing 2 rooftop air handlers that serve the principal's office area and the athletic office areas, original equipment from the 1980s and 1990s. One of the unique things about these is, one, it's not an overhead projector, Ed. Throw that one in. Oh, Ross, sorry. But these air handlers are currently electric heat, which is actually 2 of our only electric heat rooftop air handlers that we have. So converting that over to a more modern natural gas air handling unit with air conditioning moving forward. And at our district parks, we, as prefaced last year, we'd be moving into phase 1 of 3 of retrofitting our existing field lighting at Schilberg Park. And this would be converting the existing poles from metal halide like they currently are today. And that was exactly how they were constructed in 1998 over to LED. And the LED system would be identical to what was put in at the varsity baseball field a year ago, identical to what's currently being put in at the soccer fields at Schilberg. So it's not only more efficient, better quality light, but it's also controllable remotely and programmed from our district devices or controls, much like our digital HVAC controls. So again, this would be phase 1 of 3. Phases 2 and 3 would be, splitting the softball and baseball complex in years 2 and 3. That is project totals over the 3 funds, Fund 10, 46, and 80 of approximately $1.659 million. And a couple items to note, just on the actual PowerPoint itself, is that, key additions to the capital maintenance plan from what you saw last year would be the addition of the healthcare sciences lab under the high school. So that would be moving forward eligible for Fund 46 expenditure should we move forward with that project, as well as the district maintenance facility as it stands today. Those, again, are future approval items, but just getting them on the capital maintenance plan approved by the Board of Education makes that eligible for Fund 46 use at a later date. And then part 2 is the vehicle and equipment replacement plan. The vehicle and equipment proposed pieces this year would be a replacement skid loader for district maintenance and a replacement mower for district maintenance. That total budget is just under $49,000, and that does include equipment trade-ins for that. And then moving forward there, we'd be moving into cycling through our district passenger vehicles and district maintenance fleet trucks. I guess any questions from there?
Stephen, was that attachment included, the vehicle?
Oh, wasn't? We will make sure we have that for next time.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my question too, because sometimes we see that one that has like 2 years out, 3 years out.
Yeah. This one.
Yes, yeah, thank you.
We'll make sure we have that for next time. We'll get that out to board members in the meantime too.
Chelsea, could you bring the presentation back up? The district park. One thing that I found very interesting at the meeting was the comment that this is not as intensive as the soccer fields because it's using structures that are already there. So it's kind of retrofitting. We're not digging anything up. We're just taking the lights down and putting new ones up that are more efficient. So
yeah, it's really nice. Great question. What's really nice is the project itself would be really leaving the existing poles and infrastructure as is, and they really just come in with a crane, pluck the old top off, put a new top on, and some new control cabinets. So being able to use all that existing infrastructure drives the cost per field well below what a new construction would be.
Stephen, with those lights, how many lights are actually there? Because if I'm not mistaken, wasn't the whole project like 100,000 for that?
So the whole soccer project was just about 196 when it was all said and done. So there's 12 poles here across 3 fields, and there was 4 poles at the soccer complex. So
gotcha.
4.
And then phase 2 and phase 3 of that, how many lights would be left, or what's that in today's dollars? Like what would you expect that cost to be?
So the estimated cost for phase 2 and 3 would be approximately $300,000 per phase. So this one is the largest of the 3 phases to get through all 3 football fields. There really wasn't a good way to slice this to make it more phases. So doing it in the way that we have it is the best way we could make it, as budget tolerable as possible, I'll put it, while still keeping it practical.
Thank you.
any other questions? Okay, so this will come up for approval at our next school board meeting on February 9th.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we'll go on to the next item, which is the North Side Playground Equipment Replacement.
All right. So also presented at the Finance Committee on January 19th was the proposed project of replacing the existing playground equipment at Northside, which is the original playground equipment that was installed in 1993 as part of the building's original construction. As outlined in the memo, the existing equipment has far exceeded its useful life. The useful life for playground equipment in the state of Wisconsin, they generally ballpark at 20 years through all the freeze thaw cycles, all that good stuff. So we've definitely far exceeded what that playground's lifespan is. And, the way that it currently sits today, I'm not going to say that it's unsafe. It's not unsafe, but the way that we have to address things as they fail is that we basically take that piece of equipment out of circulation and make it unusable, and it's just less pieces that the kids get to use moving forward. It's really not feasible for us to continue to try to piece and patch that equipment together as it's just structurally getting to the point it's past its useful life. And we did take a look at, and we talked with our playground consultant about, trying to develop a plan that would allow us to, phase in replacement of that existing playground equipment, because it is one of the largest playgrounds that we have in the district. But that playground equipment is actually grandfathered into safety standards where if you touch or modify that playground equipment, you're required to touch and modify the entire thing. You can't take bits and pieces off of it. So taking a look at the equipment that's currently there, talking with Mrs. Kramer and the playground supervisors down there at what's used the most, what playground trends are they seeing kids getting the most use out of at other playground projects, is really where we developed and got to the proposed project that is in the board packet. We did go through a lot of different renditions of this, and this is the one that garnered the most excitement out of the Northside staff. One of the unique circumstances here at this Northside project is just at the elementary schools. Traditionally, the playground equipment replacement and or additions have traditionally been funded through parents groups, but being the size and scale of this project, replacing it in a timely manner through a fundraising effort just isn't something that's feasible. So the overall project budget based on what's proposed here tonight is $250,000, and $250,000 includes the equipment installation and the playground wood fiber surfacing after the fact. The district ourselves would take care of the removal and site preparation ahead of that. And sorry, I lost my spot. And talking with Ross and Rich, the proposed funding for that $250,000 project would be a 2025-26 fiscal year expense, with the plan to use unspent Fund 10 budgeted funds to do so. Moving forward with a timeline of this project, what the proposed timeline would be is if this project moves forward for approval at the meeting on February 9th, we did confirm with the playground manufacturer that upon time of order of that, we would have it in time for an installation in the month of June. So that timeline can be met. And we did also, after the last Finance Committee meeting, confirm that the new playground equipment does feature 31 different ADA accessible stations, which is wonderful news. And, it features a lot of different ADA accessible stations there. There's additional ADA accessible swing locations. It's really a tremendous upgrade on that front as well.
And just that's what that little block on the end of the walkway that allows for the accessibility. Is that what the idea was?
Yeah, so that's a transition from the sidewalk down to the wood surfacing. So yeah, that's one of the features that would be part of it. Yes.
Thank you.
Is Northside used for summer school
Yes.
at all? Would that be an issue with the timing with? I mean, because that goes through what, the beginning of July, right?
July.
Yeah, so.
Talking with Mrs. Kramer, we think it could be manageable getting that done in the month of June.
Okay.
It's going to be a 3-week total process from demo to site preparation to installation, but that's something that we feel like we can navigate.
I'm just thinking of the kids. I mean, they probably play out there in between sessions and. Okay.
We do have the playground expansion that took place last year on the back side of the building. And there's, basketball courts, they got the Gaga ball pits, we've got the playground expansion. So there are a lot of other options that hopefully we can get them to use for that window of time. But yes.
Yeah, Chelsea, if you can bring up the memo, the other picture, this did come up at the committee meeting. It's up in the back. If you want to just, it's in the upper corner
where the expansion is.
Yeah, so where they would be able to play during summer school if you scroll in that area, so they would be able to keep them away from that area.
And the parents group is also continuing to work on the playground expansion. So they did phase 1 of their playground expansion on that north side. That's actually not on that last Google Earth vision, but they're continuing to fundraise toward expanding that on that side too. So it's not like there's not a fundraising effort by the Northside Parents Group. It's just, not a scale that they could ever accomplish in a timely manner.
That was going to be my statement, was just put a plug in for Friends of Northside and the projects they have done the last year or two. Yeah. So I know it's quite a bit for a parents group. So
yeah, they've done a tremendous job. I think I highlighted in the memo there too, the playground expansion last year. The previous year, they did a bunch of replacements of existing basketball equipment. So they've done a great job keeping up on things that are tangible to keep up on. So yes, they do a wonderful job down there.
Any other comments? So this will be an action item as noted on the next board meeting on February 9th.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. And then we have an update on debt defeasance planning.
Thanks, everybody.
Hello again. I'm not as tall, so I'm going to put this back down. We talked to the Finance Committee last week. If you recall, in the fall, we talked about a strategy for debt defeasance in Fund 39. The only debt we're currently carrying as a school district is related to our capital referendum from 2020. And in 2023, we actually did a $3 million defeasement when Carrie Bradley was here. And over the last couple of years, we've been moving our debt defeasance levy lower and lower to the point where we have about $4.3 million in there for an additional defeasance package. And I'm working with our financial partners at Baird, and I've invited them to come to the February 9th board meeting as well to discuss the timeline for the defeasance and any questions the board members may have. But the sample information we have today is based on current market expectations. And of course, until we go to the actual market, we don't know what our actual rates are going to be or what the savings will be. But at about a $4.275 million defeasance package, we're looking to save just over $1.5 million in interest off of the back of the current referendum. So we'd be erasing the 2039 final payment entirely, and the 2038 payment would be down to almost 25% of what it is now. Again, we're not bringing any language to the board until the March 9th meeting for the resolution. And after that, we will take the borrowing package to the markets with Baird, and we'll bring back the results to the board at the end of March. Other than that, this is just an interim update that we're currently working on this, and we'll be bringing the defeasance back next time as well. All right, thank you.
I think just the one thing that I wanted to share, it's related to both of those topics, is a thank you to Ross and Stephen in both of those topics, on the capital maintenance and on the debt defeasance. They really are taking a long-term view. They're looking at what do we need in place now, but how can we also set things up so that future students, future staff, future school boards, and future property tax payers are benefiting from the decisions that we're making right now. So thank you for your work putting that together, and thank board members on the Finance Committee for your work.
Thank you, guys. That is the update. Thank you.
And so now we will move on to new business, discussion and possible action on the 26-27 open enrollment space limitations for special ed. And as a reminder, we looked at this at our last meeting also.
Perfect. So attached is a memo. The memo summarizes the information discussed at the previous committee and board meetings, as Annette had said. So our board is required to designate spaces for non-resident students for the next school year per our policy 5113. So that is happening at this January meeting. At the bottom of the memo, you will find our recommended caseload ratios, which we previously discussed. On the following page is all of our information about projected enrollment, plus our new referral and move-in numbers. And that information finds us with no space in our special education services for almost all of our programming, with the exception of our guided flight and SOAR program at the high school, which offers one space available based on those ratios and information that was set. As it's important to be noted, we still follow the process for determining space for special education and open enrollment for applications that come in. So any IEP that comes in still is reviewed in entirety to determine if we have space based on that student's IEP. No assumptions are made about special education or related services based solely on identified disability area. And a wait list will be established in the event that there's changes in projection enrollment or projected staffing for the 26-27 school year. So it is recommended for 26-27 that space remain available for regular education open enrollment at all grade levels. All currently attending special education open enrollment applicants will be guaranteed a seat in all grade levels based on their current IEP programming, so that's students who are already in the district. And it is recommended that there'll be one space be made available only at our high school guided flight or SOAR programming for 26-27, and all other special education programs will be closed for open enrollment due to no space availability.
Any questions? I would entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the open enrollment recommendation with one special education seat available in the guided flight SOAR program at Milton High School. All other special education spaces are at capacity for the 26-27 school year as presented.
I'll second that.
So I have a motion from John, a second from Tracy. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Whitney, you're
Perfect.
on again.
All right. So previously this year, we had talked about the guided flight expansion into Milton East. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update on some things that have been happening since we talked then. So that board meeting was on a Monday night, and that next morning, Principal Sheevy and Principal Swingles met with myself and the staff at East and West to talk about the expansion and to give some general information just to let them know that it was coming and that the things that we were planning to do to support that transition. That same day, the principals at Milton East and West connected with families who might be impacted based on that change. At our last PD day, staff at East were provided with the opportunity to connect with staff at Milton West to ask some questions, do a little bit of a Q&A about how to meet some of the student needs and things that they might be experiencing next year. So they got the opportunity to collaborate with their colleagues there. Today was the first day at Milton East for our Pre-Flight Academy playgroup that started. So that's that progression that we talked about from early childhood on. So today was the groundbreaking opening of that. In our staffing report, you'll also see a new health aide who we had talked about with staffing, who will support the increasing health needs in our district, including supporting at Milton East. Our next PD day in February includes sessions for all of our staff to attend and select based on their needs that support both the mental health of our students and our staff. And we have additional PD and communication that will be coming as the year continues. Do you have any questions?
Will there be any facility needs at East to accommodate the change in the program?
So we had have talked about, we had staff from Milton West come over to Milton East to look at the space that we have available and what that looks like. We're looking at a potential sensory room space to support the sensory needs of students, and looking at some ADA compliance of bathrooming space over there too. That is something this is not a new conversation for some of those needs. It's just something that we're seeing more of a need for now.
That doesn't need to go, Rich, through any type of capital. How would that be accounted for?
Those changes are all things that will be able to fit within the existing budget.
Thank you.
And this is another example where our staff really work together to come up with a plan moving forward that's going to be extremely beneficial for our students, our families, and our staff. So, great work.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you. Thank you for your work on this project.
Thank you.
We are on to miscellaneous 7A, action on staffing reports.
I'll move to approve the staffing report as presented.
I have a motion from John, a second from Rick. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. For informational items, we've got our monthly financial report. Were there any questions or comments on that? As usual, I thank the business office for that. It's very informative. 7C, action on gifts and donations.
I'll move to approve the gifts and donations with gratitude.
I have a motion from Tracy, a second from Ed. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Meeting dates.
Our next regularly scheduled board meeting is on Monday, February 9th. And between now and then, we have a number of committee meetings. As shared earlier tonight, after this meeting, we have a data workshop. And then following the data workshop will be a superintendent hiring committee meeting. Then also coming up next week, a governance committee meeting on Monday, February 2nd at 6:30 here in the PDC. a HR committee meeting on Tuesday, February 3rd at 2 p.m. in the second floor conference room, and an HR committee meeting on Wednesday, February 18th at 1 p.m. in the second floor conference room.
Is there a governance committee coming up?
Yeah, the governance is on Monday, February 2nd at 6:30.
Okay, thank you. All right, I think that's everything. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
A motion from Tracy, a second from Rick. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you so much.